Her body had been dumped about 12 to 15 miles from where her car was found.
I will go to my grave knowing I had experienced closure in my daughter's murder.
I received 2 recantations from Philip Bolin. He said he never saw Oscar Bolin with a dead body.
You didn't murder Natalie Hawley, Stephanie Collins, Terry Lynn Matthews.
No. He was found guilty 10 times by 10 different juries for those 3 murders that Carson just mentioned.
Background in early life. Oscar Ray Bolin Jr.'s background and early life were marked by a troubled upbringing within a family deeply involved in the carnival industry. Born on January 22, 1962, in Portland, Indiana, Bolin's family was characterized by a transient lifestyle as they moved across multiple states, including Florida, Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio. Bolin's parents were laborers and carnival workers, contributing to an unconventional and often unstable environment. One of the most distressing aspects of Bolin's early life was the abusive treatment he endured from his father. Reports indicate that his father subjected him to physical hurt during his childhood, leaving lasting emotional scars. Additionally, Bolin's mother resorted to using a leash to walk him to a school bus stop, highlighting the tumultuous dynamics within the family. As Bolin entered his teenage years, his life took a more sinister turn. At the age of 15, in 1977, he was arrested for theft in Ohio. This early brush with the law foreshadowed a pattern of criminal behavior that would continue to plague him throughout his youth. In the early 1980s, Bolin relocated to Florida, where he found work as a carnival worker. This move to Florida marked a significant change in his life, as it brought him closer to the state where he would later commit a series of heinous crimes. Bolin's involvement in the carnival industry not only provided him with a source of income, but also introduced him to a transient and unpredictable lifestyle that may have further influenced his later criminal activities. Despite his troubled past and early encounters with the criminal justice system, Bolin's most infamous acts were yet to come. In 1986, he embarked on a spree of violence, kidnapping, and slaying that would forever stain his name and lead to his eventual arrest, conviction, and putting down.
So I gotta ask you, how are you feeling this morning?
Bay Area's most notorious serial killer will be put to death.
He was found guilty 10 times by 10 different juries for those 3 murders that Carson just mentioned.
Bolin's background in early life painted a picture of a troubled individual shaped by a turbulent upbringing within a family of carnival workers. His history of criminal involvement during his youth foreshadowed the grave crimes he would later commit. The move to Florida in the early 1980s, where he continued to work in the carnival industry, set the stage for the tragic events that would ultimately define his life and legacy as a convicted serial slayer. The slayings. In 1986, Oscar Ray Bolin Jr. committed a series of gruesome slayings that shook the Tampa Bay area and left 3 young women lifeless. These slayings went shockwaves through the community, as Bolin's actions were both brutal and horrifying. Natalie Blanche Hawley. On January 25, 1986, 25-year-old Natalie Blanche Hawley, a night manager at Church's Fried Chicken restaurant in Tampa, became Bolin's first victim. After finishing her late-night shift, Hawley left the store around 1:30 a.m. As she headed to her car, she was abducted by Bolin. Her lifeless body was found hours later by a morning jogger, having been brutally knifed to lifelessness.
Natalie Blanche Hawley had been stabbed about 12 times in her upper torso.
Oscar Ray Bolin, convicted of killing 3 women in 1986, will die tonight.
Her body had been dumped about 12 to 15 miles from where her car was found.
My ex-husband calls me and says, I have some news, your sister's dead.
This senseless act of violence left the community in shock and fear. Stephanie Collins. Just a few months later, on November 5, 1986, 17-year-old Stephanie Collins, a high school senior at Chamberlain High School, disappeared after finishing her shift at a drugstore. Her body was found on December 5, 1986, wrapped in sheets and towel. The brutality of her slaying was evident, as she had been both knifed to lifelessness and suffered a crushed skull. The circumstances surrounding her abduction and the subsequent discovery of her body added to the horror of Bolin's crimes.
Hello, my name is Donna Whitmer. I'm Stephanie's mom.
We've got a hair match from his head to the Stephanie Collins case that matches his head hair.
Terry Matthews' body was found and subsequently Stephanie Collins on the same day.
Terry Lynn Matthews. On the same day that Stephanie Collins' body was found, November 5th, 1986, 26-year-old Terry Lynn Matthews went missing. Her car was discovered outside a post office with the engine still running, raising immediate concerns. Tragically, her body was located later that day in a wooded area, wrapped in a white sheet. Bolin's modus operandi was consistent, as Terry Lynn Matthews had her throat slashed and had been brutally bludgeoned.
I will go to my grave knowing I had experienced closure in my daughter's murder.
Right over here is where Terry's body was dumped, right here on the embankment.
State's about to kill me, and they think they're getting justice, and I'm like, well, they're not getting justice.
Bolin's modus operandi in these heinous crimes involved the use of extreme violence, including knifing and beating his victims. The nature of these slayings, coupled with the young age and innocence of the victims, sent shockwaves of fear and outrage throughout the community. These crimes remained unsolved for several years, creating a climate of terror as the perpetrator remained at large, continuing his violent spree. Bolin's actions would later lead to his arrest, conviction, and eventual putting down, but the scars left on the families of the victims and the community would never fully heal. Investigation. The investigation into Oscar Ray Bolin Jr.'s crimes was a lengthy and complex process that ultimately led to his conviction for the slayings of Natalie Blanche Hawley, Stephanie Collins, and Terry Lynn Matthews. Several key elements played a pivotal role in connecting Bolin to these slayings. Witness testimonies. The slayings went unsolved for several years, causing fear and uncertainty in the community. It wasn't until later that witnesses came forward with crucial information. These witnesses included individuals who had seen or heard about Bolin's involvement in the crimes. They provided valuable testimonies that helped authorities piece together the puzzle. Bolin's ex-wife. One of the most significant developments in the investigation was the involvement of Bolin's ex-wife, Cheryl Hafner. After their divorce, Hafner remarried and was told by Bolin about his participation in multiple slayings. Disturbed by this revelation, she decided to call a tip line and implicate Bolin. Her decision to come forward with this crucial information played a pivotal role in connecting Bolin to the crimes. Testimonies from relatives. Bolin's own family members became witnesses against him. His half-brother and a cousin testified in court against Bolin, providing damning evidence of his involvement in the slayings. Bolin's half-brother revealed that he had witnessed Bolin beating one of the victims and attempting to drown her with a garden hose.
When we met with Philip Bolin, he told us of the night of Terry's murder.
The FBI laboratory was able to link forensically those cases.
These witness testimonies were instrumental in building a case against Bolin, as they provided first-hand accounts of his actions and involvement in the crimes. Their courage in coming forward and sharing their knowledge helped law enforcement piece together the events surrounding the slayings and established a strong case against Bolin.
I noticed there was blood on the curtains.
I received 2 recantations from Philip Bolin. He said he never saw Oscar Bolin with a dead body.
I said what you wanted me to say, sir.
So somebody put those words in your mouth?
Yes, sir.
The combination of witness testimonies, including those from Bolin's ex-wife and family members, along with other evidence, eventually led to Bolin's conviction and sentencing to capital punishment. The investigation was a testament to the determination of law enforcement and the courage of those who provided critical information to ensure that justice was served for the victims and their families. Last interview before putting down. On the day before his scheduled putting down, Oscar Ray Bolin was interviewed by WTVT, providing insight into his emotional state and maintaining his innocence in the face of his impending punishment. Throughout the interview, Bolin remained steadfast in his denial of guilt. a stance consistent with his position during the entirety of his legal proceedings. He adamantly claimed that he had been framed for the crimes he was convicted of, refusing to accept responsibility. For Bolen, the knowledge of his exact putting down date and time weighed heavily on his mind. The impending ending presented an unparalleled challenge, the daunting reality of knowing precisely when his life would come to an end. It's a circumstance that is difficult for anyone to grasp, and Bolen acknowledged the unique difficulty of facing one's mortality in such a manner.
You didn't murder Natalie Hawley?
No.
Stephanie Collins?
No.
Terry Lynn Matthews?
No.
Prosecution will never admit what they did. I am innocent of the murder of Terry Lynn Matthews. I have maintained my innocence.
Defendant Oscar Ray Bolen caused the death of Terry Lynn Matthews.
So is Florida basically killing an innocent man?
Yes.
Despite the overwhelming anxiety and uncertainty surrounding his ending, Bolen conveyed an unexpected sense of inner peace. This tranquility may have arisen from his lengthy incarceration of 28 years, during which he had ample time to reflect on his life and come to terms with his past actions. He seemed to find solace in the idea that his sentence had been served, and he was now preparing to face the ultimate consequences of his deeds. Bolen's 28 years in confinement were nothing short of exceedingly challenging. He described the experience as exceptionally difficult, compounded by the loss of support from people who once cared about him. This loss of support from the outside world served to make his time in prison even more arduous. While reflecting on his past, Bolen acknowledged that there were aspects he wished he could change. Regret and introspection colored his perspective as he faced putting down. Despite the weight of his past actions, he had somehow managed to find a sense of inner peace as the end approached. Maintaining his innocence was a cornerstone of Bolen's stance. He vehemently denied any involvement in the slayings of Natalie Hawley, Stephanie Collins, and Terry Matthews. He asserted that he had never met these individuals and only knew them through photographs and media reports. Bolen's unwavering protestations of innocence remained the focal point of his narrative.
So you're innocent?
Absolutely innocent of the murder. I had nothing to do with it.
Advise and recommend to the court that it impose the death penalty upon Oscar Ray Bolen Jr.
I met him through photographs, through crime scene photos, through newspaper articles.
Bolen firmly believed that the evidence in his case was flawed, tainted, and potentially planned to incriminate him. He used the interview as a platform to call for an independent examination of the evidence, urging others to hire trustworthy investigators to scrutinize his case. Bolen's plea for a fresh look at the evidence underscored his determination to prove his innocence, even in the 11th hour before his scheduled putting down. In these moments before his putting down, Oscar Ray Bolen's emotional journey was a complex interplay of denial, reflection, regret, and the paradoxical peace that can emerge from accepting the inevitability of one's fate. His story serves as a poignant reminder of the multifaceted nature of human emotions when faced with mortality, justice, and the passage of time. The putting down. Oscar Ray Bolen Jr.'s putting down marked the culmination of a long legal process that began with his arrest and conviction for the slayings of Natalie Blanche Hawley, Stephanie Collins, and Terry Lynn Matthews. Here are the details of his putting down. Putting down by lethal injection. On January 7, 2016, at 10:16 p.m. EST, Oscar Ray Bolen Jr. was executed by lethal injection at Florida State Prison in Stark. This marked the first putting down in United States in 2016. Lethal injection is the primary method of putting down in Florida, involving the administration of a series of drugs to induce unconsciousness, paralysis, and cardiac arrest.
There's actually a phone in the execution chamber that is a direct line from the governor to that room.
They're about to execute me for Terry Lynn Matthews' murder. They execute someone who absolutely did not commit that murder.
Last meal. Bolen's last meal consisted of a final culinary choice before his putting down. His requested last meal included a rib-eye steak, a baked potato, salad, garlic bread, lemon meringue pie, and Coca-Cola. The tradition of providing a last meal is a customary practice in many U.S. states for ending row inmates. It allows them to have a final meal of their choosing before their scheduled putting down. providing a small semblance of choice and comfort in their final moments. No final statement. Despite the opportunity to make a final statement before his putting down, Bolin chose not to offer any last words or statements. This decision remained in line with his demeanor during his legal battles, where he consistently maintained his innocence without elaborating further.
But I'm at peace with myself. I mean, as far as it's my release. My punishment's over.
Bolin ate his last meal at 10 o'clock this morning. We're told he had a ribeye steak medium rare with a couple of other sides.
Imagine spending 28 years in this room. There's no way to describe it.
We're told that he was calm this morning and that he was in good spirits.
I don't know how you would expect someone to feel. I mean, if they told you tomorrow you're dying, how would you feel?
The putting down of Oscar Ray Bolin Jr. marked the end of a lengthy legal process and brought closure to a chapter of fear and uncertainty in the Tampa Bay area. While Bolin continued to assert his innocence until the end, the putting down served as the legal consequence for the crimes he was convicted of committing. It was a solemn and somber event, concluding a tragic chapter in the lives of the victims' families and the community. Other potential crimes. In addition to the slayings for which Oscar Ray Bolin Jr. was convicted, there were indications of his involvement in other crimes, shedding light on the extent of his criminal activities. Strangulation of a Texas woman. Bolin's criminal history extended beyond Florida. He was connected to the strangulation of a Texas woman. However, Texas prosecutors chose not to seek an indictment in that case, likely due to the fact that Bolin was already facing multiple slaying charges in Florida. This lack of prosecution in Texas added a layer of complexity to Bolin's criminal profile. Physical attack of an Ohio woman. In 1987, Bolin and two other men kidnapped and physically attacked a 20-year-old waitress in Toledo, Ohio. After the physical attack, Bolin attempted to slay her with a gun, but the weapon malfunctioned, sparing her life. He eventually released her along a highway in Pennsylvania. Bolin's criminal activities in Ohio and Pennsylvania added to his notoriety as a violent offender. Legal complexities and lack of prosecution. Bolin's criminal activities spanned multiple states, which presented legal complexities. Prosecutors had to navigate jurisdictional issues and coordinate efforts across different states to hold him accountable for his crimes. In some instances, like the Texas case, prosecutors may have chosen not to pursue charges due to the complexity of the legal process or the fact that Bolin was already facing the capital punishment in Florida. Speculation about additional unsolved cases. Bolin's activities as a long-haul truck driver raised speculation about the possibility of his involvement in other unsolved cases. The transient nature of his occupation allowed him to move across states, making it challenging for law enforcement to track his movements and potential criminal activities. This led to speculation that there might be more victims or unsolved cases linked to Bolin's actions during his time as a truck driver. While Bolin's primary notoriety stemmed from the slayings for which he was convicted and ultimately executed, the shadow of his involvement in other crimes such as the strangulation in Texas and the physical attack in Ohio added complexity to his criminal history. The lack of prosecution in some instances and the speculation surrounding additional unsolved cases underscored the challenges in bringing all of Bolin's potential crimes to justice. Impact on survivors. The survivor of Oscar Ray Bolin Jr.'s violent attack in Ohio endured a long and arduous journey, marked by the profound and lasting impacts of her traumatic experience. Her story encompasses not only her personal struggles, but also her resilience and determination to seek justice for herself and the other victims of Bolin's crimes. The experience of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. The survivor's ordeal in Ohio left her with deep emotional scars, and she suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, as a result of the traumatic events she endured. PTSD is a mental health condition that can develop after a person has been exposed to a traumatic event. Symptoms may include intrusive thoughts, nightmares, flashbacks, intense anxiety, and avoidance behaviors. For the survivor, the aftermath of the attack was a constant battle with the haunting memories and emotional distress triggered by her traumatic experience. PTSD is often a silent and invisible struggle, but it can have a profound impact on the survivor's daily life. The survivor's journey with PTSD involved seeking therapy and counseling to help her manage her symptoms and find ways to cope with the trauma. Her determination to heal and regain control over her life was a testament to her resilience. Testifying in multiple trials. Despite the immense challenges posed by her PTSD, the survivor made the courageous decision to testify in multiple trials related to Oscar Ray Bolen Jr.'s slayings. Her testimony was a critical component of the legal proceedings, as it provided crucial evidence against Bolen and helped secure convictions for the slaying he had committed. Testifying in court about her traumatic experience was not an easy task. It required her to relive the terrifying events and face the man who had subjected her to such brutality. However, her determination to seek justice for herself and the other victims of Bolen's crimes compelled her to take the stand. Her testimony served as a powerful reminder that survivors have a voice and can play an instrumental role in holding perpetrators accountable for their actions. Connections with victims' mothers. Throughout her involvement in the legal proceedings, the survivor formed a deep and meaningful connection with the mothers of Bolen's victims, Natalie Blanche Hawley, Stephanie Collins, and Terry Lynn Matthews. Their shared experiences of loss, trauma, and the pursuit of justice created a unique bond among them.
There was an amazing strength, though, in seeing the three of them together. I can't imagine how it would have been if they'd been alone.
Our family and Terry's friends are forever grateful.
They were sisters in pain. They were right there for each other.
Sisters in pain.
The time. Sisters in pain.
The mothers of the victims had endured unimaginable grief and heartache, losing their daughters to Bolen's heinous crimes. The survivor, in turn, had survived the traumatic attack, but had also been scarred by her encounter with Bolen. Together, they became a support network, offering each other emotional solace and understanding that only those who have experienced similar trauma can provide. Their alliance was a source of strength, empowering them to face the challenges of the legal process and the emotional toll it took on them. They were united by a common goal, ensuring that justice was served for the victims and that Bolen would be held accountable for his actions.
I also wish to thank the witnesses who testified on our behalf.
I do want to thank the prosecuting attorneys, the investigators.
It was relief, you know. I felt that he got what he deserved.
Support network. The survivor's decision to be a local advocate for justice and her connection with the mothers of Bolen's victims transformed her into an integral part of a broader support network. This network extended beyond the courtroom and included friends, family, and advocates who rallied around her and the other survivors. Their collective efforts were instrumental in providing emotional support and creating a safe space for survivors to share their experiences and emotions. The survivor's journey was a testament to her resilience and her unwavering commitment to seeking justice. She chose not to be defined solely by her status as a survivor, but also a survivor who took action. Her determination to confront her trauma in the courtroom, her connection with the mothers of the victims, and her role in the support network highlighted the importance of solidarity among survivors and their allies. Together, they sought to ensure that the legacy of the victims would not fade into oblivion and that justice would prevail. In conclusion, the survivor's experience of PTSD, her decision to testify, her connection with the victims' mothers, her participation in a robust support network underscored the remarkable strength and resilience that survivors of trauma can exhibit. Her journey serves as an inspiration for others who have faced similar challenges and highlights the power of individuals coming together to seek justice and healing. Bolen's legal battles. Oscar Ray Bolen Jr.'s legal battles were protracted and complex, spanning multiple trials and convictions over the course of several years. His case garnered significant attention not only due to the heinous nature of his crimes, but also because of the challenges faced by both prosecutors and defense attorneys throughout the legal proceedings. Multiple trials and convictions. Bolen faced multiple trials and convictions of the slayings of Natalie Blanche Hawley, Stephanie Collins, and Terry Lynn Matthews. The trials were conducted in the state of Florida, where the crimes had taken place. Each trial focused on one of the slaying victims, resulting in Bolin being convicted separately for each slaying. Bolin's legal journey began with his initial convictions in the early 1990s. However, his case took a tumultuous turn when the Florida Supreme Court intervened, overturning some of his convictions due to mistakes made during the trials. This legal turmoil prolonged the process of achieving justice for the victims and their families. Florida Supreme Court overturning convictions. One of the defining aspects of Bolin's legal battles was the Florida Supreme Court's decision to overturn several of his convictions. The court identified errors and irregularities in the trials that necessitated a re-evaluation of Bolin's guilt. These errors including improper evidence introduction and other legal shortcomings that had the potential to impact the fairness of the trials. The overturning of convictions created a sense of frustration and uncertainty among the victims' families and prosecutions. It meant that the pursuit of justice would entail revisiting and retrying cases, further extending the ordeal for all parties involved. Challenges faced by prosecutors. Prosecutors faced a series of challenges during Bolin's trials. The primary challenge was the need to present a compelling case against Bolin while adhering to the strict legal standards required in capital slaying trials. Bolin's defense team was committed to vigorously contesting the charges against him, necessitating a robust and thorough prosecution effort. Additionally, the prosecution had to navigate the legal complexities stemming from Bolin's multiple convictions and subsequent overturnings.
There's hair and fibers, right?
Hair and fibers that Mike Malone prepared. I've gotten to know him fairly well through newspaper articles and crime scene photos, police reports.
This required meticulous planning and coordination to ensure that justice was served in each individual case. Challenges faced by defense attorneys. Bolin's defense attorneys also encountered formidable challenges in their efforts to defend their client. Their task was to vigorously advocate for Bolin's innocence and cast doubt on the prosecution's case.
There is no connection to Oscar Ray Bolin to this offense.
So you're innocent?
There was another man confessed to it.
Bolin maintained his innocence throughout the legal proceedings, which meant that his defense team had to scrutinize the evidence presented against him and explore potential avenues for exoneration. The defense team faced the daunting task of confronting the survivors' testimonies, which were crucial in establishing Bolin's guilt. Balancing the need to challenge the survivors' accounts with the sensitivity required in such cases was a delicate and intricate legal maneuver. The repeated overturning of convictions added another layer of complexity to the defense's strategy. They had to adapt to the evolving legal landscape and prepare for retrials while maintaining Bolin's assertion of innocence. Oscar Ray Bolin Jr.'s legal battles were characterized by a series of trials and convictions that spanned several years. The involvement of the Florida Supreme Court, which overturned convictions due to mistakes in the trials, added layers of complexity to the pursuit of justice. Both prosecutors and defense attorneys faced formidable challenges as they navigated the legal intricacies of capital slaying cases and strived to uphold the principles of justice. The legal battle surrounding Bolin's case serve as a poignant reminder of the complexities and uncertainties that can arise in the pursuit of justice for victims and the accused alike. Bolin's personal life. Oscar Ray Bolin Jr.'s personal life took an unusual turn during his time on Ending Row, as he entered into a marriage with Rosalie Martinez, a woman who fervently believed in his innocence and was committed to their relationship. Their union on Ending Row captured the attention of the media and raised questions about the dynamics of such an unconventional marriage. Marriage to Rosalie Martinez. While incarcerated on Ending Row, Bolin formed a connection with Rosalie Martinez that eventually led to their marriage. Their relationship, which began with correspondence and prison visits, developed into a deep emotional bond. In 1996, Bolin and Martinez decided to formalize their commitment to each other in an unconventional manner by getting married over the phone. Bolin was in Florida State Prison in Stark, and Martinez was in her apartment in Gainesville, Florida at the time of their marriage.
Oscar, do you take Rosalie to be your lawful wedded wife?
Yes, I do.
He puts me on an emotional pedestal. He listens. He's there, completely, 100%.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. Congratulations.
Good luck.
Rosalie's belief in Bolin's innocence. One of the most remarkable aspects of Bolin's personal life was Rosalie Martinez's unwavering belief in his innocence. She firmly asserted that Bolin had been wrongfully convicted of the slayings he was accused of committing. This conviction became a central theme in their relationship, as Martinez saw herself not only as Bolin's wife, but also a staunch advocate for his exoneration. Rosalie Martinez's belief in Bolin's innocence was a driving force behind their relationship. She dedicated herself to raising awareness about his case and advocating for his release. Her commitment extended beyond the confines of their marriage, as she sought to change public opinion and rally support for Bolin's cause. Perspective on their unconventional marriage. The marriage between Oscar Ray Bolin Jr. and Rosalie Martinez was unconventional by any standards. They were physically separated by prison bars and the constraints of Bolin's incarceration and ending row. The limitations imposed on their relationship forced them to find alternative ways to connect and communicate.
Was Rosalie Bolin blinded by love, or did she know something others didn't?
It was a knee-jerk reaction, don't tell me what to do, and here we are.
Passion. Somebody just to put you on a pedestal. Not with material things, but emotion.
From Rosalie Martinez's perspective, their marriage was a testament to love that transcended extraordinary circumstances. She saw it as a union rooted in a deep emotional connection and the shared commitment to seeking justice. In interviews with the media, Martinez emphasized the strength of their bond and her belief that Bolin was wrongly convicted. Their marriage drew attention, not only because of its unconventional nature, but also because it challenged societal norms and expectations. It raised questions about the motivations behind such union and the complexities of maintaining a relationship under the shadow of a capital punishment. Oscar Ray Bolin Jr.'s personal life took a unique and unconventional turn with his marriage to Rosalie Martinez while on ending. Martinez's unwavering belief in Bolin's innocence and her dedication to their relationship added a layer of complexity to their union.
Evidence to me doesn't support a conviction. It does not. Fingerprints don't match. There's tainted evidence in every aspect of this case, and I could pull it apart paper by paper, box by box.
If there's reward money out there today, you want part of it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I know what size my husband wears. He wears a size 8. The shoes don't match.
Their marriage, conducted over the phone and separated by prison walls, captured the public's curiosity and challenged conventional notions of love and commitment. Ultimately, it was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of belief in the face of extraordinary circumstances. Updates and additional trials. Oscar Ray Bolin Jr.'s legal saga continued, with additional trials and convictions, representing a protracted and complex legal journey that spanned decades. These trials, particularly the one for the slaying of Natalie Blanche Holley, posed significant challenges due to the passage of time on witness testimonies and evidence. Nevertheless, the enduring pursuit of justice remained a central theme in these cases. Continued legal battles and convictions. Bolin's legal battles were far from over, as he faced further trials and convictions related to the slayings he had been accused of committing. One of the pivotal trials in this ongoing legal drama was the case of Natalie Blanche Holley, one of Bolin's victims. Holley's slaying had remained unresolved for years, but prosecutors were determined to hold Bolin accountable for this heinous crime. The legal proceedings surrounding Holley's slaying required a meticulous examination of evidence and witness testimonies.
Try to tuck the pain away and deal with it a little bit at a time.
They killed me 28 years ago when they locked me up. Now they're just releasing me.
Oh, you're telling me that his death is not imminent?
No.
Prosecutors sought to build a compelling case against Bolin, who had already faced convictions for other slayings. The passage of time had not diminished the determination of law enforcement and prosecutors to secure justice for Holley and her family. Challenges posed by time. The passage of time posed significant challenges in these additional trials. witness testimonies had to contend with the erosion of memory and the fading of details over the years. Memories can become fragmented and unreliable, making it difficult to construct a precise narrative of events that occurred many years prior. Furthermore, evidence, both physical and testimonial, had to be re-evaluated in light of the time that had elapsed since the crimes were committed. The integrity of the evidence chain and preservation of critical information became paramount issues, requiring rigorous scrutiny and forensic analysis. The defense, aware of the challenges posed by the passage of time, sought to exploit these vulnerabilities to cast doubt on the prosecution's case. They argued that the uncertainty surrounding witness testimonies and evidence called into question the reliability of the convictions. The ending pursuit of justice. Despite the challenges and complexities posed by the passage of time, the pursuit of justice remained an enduring and unwavering commitment for all parties involved in these cases. Prosecutors, defense attorneys, and the survivors of Bolin's attacks were resolute in their determination to see justice served. For the families of the victims, justice was a means of finding closure and solace after enduring years of anguish and uncertainty.
I'm waiting for this a very, very long time, and it's about time.
At this time, I wish to thank all the people within law enforcement.
The legal proceedings provided them with an opportunity to confront the man responsible for the loss of their loved ones and to hold him accountable for his actions. The survivors of Bolin's attacks also played a crucial role in the pursuit of justice. Their courage and willingness to testify, even years after the crimes had occurred, contributed to the legal proceedings and helped build a compelling case against Bolin. Oscar Ray Bolin Jr.'s continued legal battles and convictions reflected the enduring pursuit of justice in the face of the challenges posed by the passage of time. These trials were characterized by the determination of all parties involved to ensure that Bolin was held accountable for his crimes, even when the memories of witnesses had faded and evidence had aged. The pursuit of justice served as a powerful reminder that the quest for truth and accountability knows no expiration date. Reflection. The crimes committed by Oscar Ray Bolin Jr. had a profound and long-lasting impact on the victims' families and the communities where these heinous acts occurred. The ripple effect of such brutal slayings extends far beyond the immediate victims, leaving scars that persist for years, if not lifetimes. Impact on victims' families and communities. The devastating impact on these crimes on the victims' families cannot be overstated. The loss of loved ones under such violent circumstances leaves an indelible mark, causing immeasurable pain and grief. For the family of Natalie Blanche Hawley, Stephanie Collins, and Terry Lynn Matthews, the wounds ran deep and their lives were forever altered by these senseless acts of violence.
I hope and pray that you have been able to find peace and build a decent and happy life for yourself.
I can't have her back, but I'll have sweet memories of her.
Communities where these crimes took place were also deeply affected. The sense of safety and security shattered by these slayings created a climate of fear and unease. Residents grappled with the unsettling reality that a serial slayer was among them, preying on innocent individuals. It was a somber reminder of the vulnerability that exists even in seemingly safe neighborhoods. Survivors' opposition to the capital punishment. One notable aspect of the aftermath of these crimes was the survivors' opposition to the capital punishment. The Ohio woman who survived Bolin's attack voiced her disagreement with capital punishment. Her perspective underscored the complex and divisive nature of the capital punishment as a form of punishment. Her opposition to the capital punishment likely stemmed from her own traumatic experience and the realization that Bolin's ending would not bring closure or healing.
Knowing your exact date and time, that's hard to deal with.
Are you going to have anything final to say right before the injection?
No, it's my release.
This testament reflects the ongoing debate surrounding the efficacy and ethics of capital punishment, with some arguing that it fails to provide true justice or closure for the victims' families. Hope for peace and closure. Throughout the years of legal battles and trials, the families of Bolin's victims maintained a collective hope for peace and closure. justice was not merely about retribution, but also about finding a sense of closure and healing. The legal proceedings, despite their challenges, offered an opportunity for the families to confront the man responsible for their immense loss. While the survivor of Bolin's attack opposed the capital punishment, she too hoped for a sense of closure and resolution. Her decision to testify in multiple trials demonstrated her commitment to being a voice for those who could no longer speak for themselves. In the face of tragedy and loss, the enduring hope for peace and closure stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The families of Bolin's victims, the survivor, and the communities impacted by these crimes demonstrated a collective determination to find a path forward, even in the shadow of such darkness. The crimes committed by Oscar Ray Bolin Jr. had far-reaching and lasting consequences on the victims' families and communities. The survivors' opposition to the capital punishment added complexity to the discussion surrounding punishment and justice. Through it all, the hope for peace and closure remained a guiding light, a beacon of resilience and determination in the face of unimaginable tragedy. That's all for today, folks. See you next time.